Good afternoon. Are we okay? But we look tired. Yeah? So I'm not going to bore you. I'm also going to tell you two stories. Each story takes 1 hour.
That's
She has given up. That's scary. Okay. Some of you have heard this story.
Which one?
You've seen these vehicles that are written on 4x4.
Yeah.
You guys are doing well. You are aware. Some of you are not doing badly. 4x4. There's a young man who went to a construction site. Some of you might have heard this story. A young man who went to a construction site, he had a mental problem. So the site engineers had parked his vehicle next to the building they were constructing. So this young man finds a vehicle written on 4x4. So he looks around the ground and picks a nail. When he picks the nail, he comes on the double cabin, which has 4x4. He scratches the vehicle. So when the owner of the vehicle comes, after finishing working on the site, he thinks, oh, there are these kids who are playing on my vehicle. So the following day, he goes to the garage. When he goes to the garage, they spray. So they put back 4x4. So this young man who has a mental problem, again, is moving around the following day. He finds the vehicle again and says, oh, these guys have said the same question. So he looks for another nail. So the owner of the vehicle comes in the evening and says, oh, this person's problem is that I need to answer the 4x4. So he takes the vehicle back to the garage. They spray the vehicle, and he puts 4 times 4 equals 16. So the young man comes the following day. He's moving around, he says, oh, this time they put the question and they answered it, and it is correct. He picks a nail and comes and ticks. This is very good. Was this young man right or he was wrong?
He was right.
Was he right or he was wrong? Yeah? Would you do that?
I wouldn't do it.
So why are you saying he was right?
Mentally.
So you see, this is the problem young people face. It's a perception problem. Everyone looks at us at a different lens. And sometimes they misconceive what we are. That is what that young man was. He had never seen a vehicle. He didn't know that a vehicle that was a brand. Yeah? That he has to have the 4x4. It is not a question that he needs to answer. You understand that. For him, he does not understand that. So in his circumstances, he was right. Because he thought somebody was asking a question. And this is the problem we have as young people. I participated one time in a training where we had about 3 young people. The majority of people were 45 and above. So the 3 young people were seated in the corner there. So in this corner, one of the older guys loses a phone. Yes? A phone got lost in this corner. No one has stood up. A phone got lost in this corner. So we announce, one of the members here has lost a phone. Another old guy from this corner says, have you checked the young people in the other corner? Yeah? And then everyone stands up and says, yes, but now have you checked them? Yeah? Why? Because thieving and stealing is associated with who? Now the problem I had with those young people is that they laughed about it. They should have been pissed about it. They should have stood up and quarreled why they were being suspected, even when they didn't cross the line. So as we are talking, a waiter comes from outside and says, excuse me, somebody forgot their phone during breakfast. And the phone is delivered. There's a perception about young people, and a lot of times we don't stand up to defend ourselves, even when it is not about you. When a young person rapes, they say the youth in this village are raping. When a 70-year-old man rapes, they say a 70-year-old man rapes. When a one young man rapes, they say the youth in this village are raping. These are things we need to fight as young people. And you see, every time they say that, it affects your ability to get certain opportunities. Because people think you're all thieves, people think you're all raping, people think you're doing all these bad things. So part of our role is to fight this perception. That even if you're not the thief, if they accuse a young person of being a thief, a lot of times they go into workshops and somebody comes up and says, Ugandan youth don't want to work. And people don't complain about that. You're supposed to be annoyed about that if you work. Isn't it? But a lot of times you say, yeah, it is true, young people of Uganda don't want to work. You people are saying that. Even some of you that are running very good businesses. You're also saying young Ugandans are lazy. you are running a successful business. But you're also saying young Ugandans are lazy. When somebody says that, I want you to shoot up your hand and say it is not true. Some of us are hardworking. It is not true. I know some youth who are hardworking. And that is the perception we need to fight as young people. That is what is letting us down. That is why when there is a job, they will say we want somebody above 33. You've seen those jobs. You must be about around 40. Because the perception is that if you're below 40, if you're below 35, you are irresponsible. And you have perpetuated that kind of behavior. And we continue showing people that, yeah, it is true, we are irresponsible. Even when there are a lot of young people among us here who are very responsible. So our role as young people, wherever we are, is try and prove that we are responsible enough. To try and prove that we are not lazy. Because it affects the opportunities of all the other young people across the country. If they find one young person who is a thief, they start thinking, oh, every young person is a thief. You need to shoot up and say, we are not all thieves. Some of us are responsible, some of us are hardworking. These are the perceptions. That is exactly what is happening. That there is a lens that the older people have about us, which is not necessarily true, because they have not interacted with us to understand us. This young man did not interact with vehicles to understand that this was a brand. The older people have this perception about young people. They have refused to interact with you to understand that you can be responsible. Part of these trainings for us is the opportunity for us to interact, reassure each other that we are important in this country, that our population is big enough to make a difference if we decide to throw the ballot, if we decide to vote, if we decide to make the right decision. And we don't mind which decision you make. If you can make that decision, you have participated in making a national decision. And I can tell you that that is the only time you make a national decision, during the ballot. That is the real time you make a national decision. So we are going to encourage you that when you go back, make sure your fellow youth participate at the university. If there's an elective position, push your friends to go for it if you cannot go for it. If your friend goes for it, support them, encourage them, and help them to win those positions. We need to be seen to be leading. We need to be seen to be showing responsibility, so that at the national level people can take us seriously. That is our biggest challenge. No one takes us serious. No one takes us very seriously. That is why they give us affirmative action. You go into a meeting, they say, okay, mutuweyo muvubuka omu. Sometimes all the youth who are available have university degrees. The people who are saying mutuweyo muvubuka omu doesn't have a university degree. And then you say, yeah, okay, yeah, we shall send one young person. You also know that you are even more literate than these groups of people. We have a big challenge as young people in this country. And we must work towards changing that perception.